So this is episode 3 of the Auto Disruptor audio experience, and I'm your host, Josh Mitchell, and I've got a special guest, a mentor, and extremely great friend of mine, Frank J Lopes. Frank, how are you today, sir?
My man, Josh, what's happening?
Doing great, sir. Doing great.
Hey, I'm about to go a little sideways over here for a second because you started the broadcast and you said episode 3. I thought I was episode 1.
You're the first guest.
I'm the first
I'll give
guest.
you that.
All right.
I've been
Okay.
on my own. So
All right. I'll let you.
You are
If
the
you
first guest.
all right, if you've been flying solo, on the last, on episodes 1 and 2, then that's fine. So this is the real episode number 1
This
with
is
a guest.
episode number 1.
Asterisk
kind
with
of
a guest.
Extension of the Auto Disruptor show that I do on YouTube and that I've been doing on Facebook, and kind of the Auto Disruptor name. And so we went with the audio experience because some people can't watch me. So it's easier to watch some people or listen to people in the car. So we decided that it would be easier, obviously, to get guests on this, doing it this way, because you can't fly out here very often. And so it makes it a lot easier for us to have guests on the show and kind of go that route.
I hear the FAA is actually discussing tracking my flights now and my flight behavior because they realize the amount of people that are falling asleep on the plane. And
Enter Sandman.
they're trying to, from what I understand, they're trying to work something out with the airlines to have, like, how they have like a red eye flight.
Yeah.
Right. Well, they want to have like an insomniac flight now, so that if anybody's got a problem with insomnia, they can charge them a premium. I don't know if I'm going to get any money out of that. I got to talk.
You should at least get your logo on the plane.
At least get my logo on the plane. What's his name's got a plane named after him, right?
Yeah.
Why not? Why not me? I mean, sports teams like Real Madrid has their own plane, through Emirates.
Yep.
Why in the world can't there be a Get More Frank plane or an Enter Sandman plane? I see no problem with this. I think
you can definitely help Metallica sell more albums.
I don't think they need any more help, but hey, man, flow power to everybody, right?
Exactly. And it's funny because how did the whole story with you taking pictures of people sleeping next to you, how did this all come about? It's a weird story because you have random people that are getting ready to come to conferences like Digital Dealer or NADA, snapping pictures of people sleeping next to them.
That's
creepy.
Okay, you think that's creepy. I want to show you something that's really fucked up. Look, so today I get a text. Okay, so I'm going to show you on the phone. So I get a text. Look at the top of the phone. You see, it's just a random number, right?
Random number.
So I have no idea who that is. So obviously my cell phone number is on social, right?
Yes.
But I do not know who that is. And look at what the text
Frank
is.
Lopes effect.
And just a picture of this person's this person's family sleeping.
I think we need to hashtag this something.
So it's gotten to the point now of where people are just randomly sending me direct pictures, like texting me pictures of people asleep on planes, some staged, obviously, and like I think that one's obviously staged.
That might be a little staged there,
and some not. So it started about a year ago. I was on a flight. I was on a flight back from, I believe it was either Vegas. It was either Vegas or Dallas. I don't remember 100%, but I was on a flight back, and there was no Wi-Fi on the plane. Right, so we're talking like a 4 or 5 hour flight. No Wi-Fi on the plane. Right, plane takes off. Oh, sorry, the Wi-Fi doesn't work. Okay, no problem. So I start talking to the guy next to me. Right, like normal. Right. I start talking to him, and we're talking back and forth. I don't remember the topic of what we were talking about. But while I'm in the middle of talking, I look like forward for a second. I look down. I'm talking, and then I pick my head back up. I look over, and the guy next to me he's fucking asleep. Right? So I said to myself, "Holy shit! Oh my god, am I that boring that I actually can't keep someone awake Well, like I can't keep them,
Yeah.
awake on a plane. So then all the craziness in my head starts like, oh my God, how in the world? I got to be a really shitty keynote speaker if I can't even keep one.
You
How am I
can't
going to keep 1,000 people engaged for 50 minutes, but I can't keep one fucker next to me, awake on
awake.
awake for 10, right? So, so about 10, so the guy's sleeping. About 10 minutes into the flight, the Wi-Fi comes back on, right? And they're like, oh, the Wi-Fi's on. And I'm like, oh, this is great. So I take a picture of the guy and I'm going to post. I am so pathetic, right? I'm so damn pathetic that I can't keep someone engaged in conversation for more than 10 minutes. This guy fell asleep on me. Okay. So I go and I put it up. The Wi-Fi is on long enough, basically just for me to put
Just
that
then.
up, and it goes off again. Okay. So I'm like, oh, great. Now I'm stuck here again, right? I'm stuck by myself again. Can't do any, no Wi-Fi, can't do any work,
Can't do anything.
nothing, right? Okay. Land, as soon as you land, your phone goes nuts because it reconnects to the cellular network again. Phone goes nuts, and I look, and it's like 100 likes, like 50 comments, and it's all me making fun of myself, right? So, okay, fine. So I winds up that, story continues to where I have I go on another trip. I go on another flight like 2 days later. Okay. And the guy next to me on that flight, he falls asleep and we didn't even take off yet. Right. So I go bang, I snap a picture, put it up, got Wi-Fi the whole time. And I'm noticing at how the act of, I don't want to say, and this was by mistake, right? So
Yeah.
the act of like humbleness of like, look at how pathetic I am, right? Or or I guess that's somewhat being a masochist too, right? So, of that, of how engaging that is, of how real, like it shows like how real it is, right?
Yeah.
Like it shows that like, oh my God, I'm so pathetic. It's not like, this isn't a post of me like, taking a selfie over here, like, dad or some stupid
Oh yeah.
shit, right? Some musclehead selfie or something like that. It's like, look at how bad I suck that I can't even keep this fucking guy awake, So that led me to a whole thing about being genuine online and about being genuine on social. And then it kept going to where now I notice that like, like 9 times out of 10, the person next to me falls asleep, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just continuing the joke. That's all it is.
That's all.
It's all. And it's not, I've been accused of making fun of the person next to me for falling asleep, to where immediately, like, I don't even have to defend myself. Just, someone else just chimes in like, what are you, dumb? He's not making fun of the person who's falling asleep. He was making fun of himself that he can't keep the guy awake.
Keep them awake.
To the point of where other people are staging sleep-ins, right? Or Sandman seat.
Sandman.
Sandman seatmates. They're staging Sandman seatmates and putting them in and tagging me, and it was funny because even so, once I was on a flight from Chicago back to Jersey, and the guy next to me talked to me the whole way, right? And then as soon as the plane landed, I said, okay, dude, I got to show you something. And I took my phone and I showed him the thing. I was like, so I need to take a picture of you.
Of you, because you're the only one that made it.
Yeah, you're the only one who made it. I put that up and that got an even better response. So the whole Sandman seatmate thing has like taken on a complete life of its own. And
Yes.
if anybody wants to, look, if you want to make fun of me for taking, or say that I'm an asshole for taking pictures of people that are sleeping on planes, I mean, go ahead. People hate me for fucking worse shit than that they make up. So may as well jump on that bandwagon too.
Exactly.
But I mean, the lesson in there is like, be genuine on social, put yourself out there, put yourself into into a vulnerable position, put yourself into a thing of being real, because people will relate with that so much more than the selfie shit,
It's the authenticity. You're authentic. And I think that it's gotten lost in, there's a lot of people that talk about getting involved in social media, from Gary Vaynerchuk to Cardone to, I mean, pretty much anybody out there who is talking any type of social. They want everyone to get out there and do these certain things. And I think it gets lost in a lot of people that they try to be something that they're really not.
Yeah.
and then it backfires on you, because if you act like you're this, Billy Badass, and the reality is that you're not, eventually that's going to catch up with you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of people just try to put this fakeness in it,
Yeah.
because they don't. Some of them don't like the real them. That's the problem.
And that's is the
Like,
problem.
I know I'm an asshole, and I'm good with that. And
Look, I'm an asshole when it comes to a lot of things too, but I'm not going to put a picture up of a Ferrari when, of a Ferrari that I rent for a day or something like that.
exactly.
And I'm not going to go to the bank and, I'm not going to go to the bank and empty my bank account in hundreds and then take it and spread it all over my bed. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Or something like that. Because nobody does that. Like that's really the bottom line. Like nobody fucking
Instagram
does
and Pinterest world, it works.
yeah, but does it? I think the real thing is maybe it did for a short period of time,
Exactly.
but I think that whole element of it works on Pinterest or it works on Instagram. Fake it till you make it only lasts so long.
Exactly.
There's got to be some content behind there. There's got to be some realness. There's got to be some meat on the bone for
And
somebody to chew on.
so, to go with that segue, me and you have had a lot of conversations about why buys and value adds to dealerships on their online presence, from their website to what they actually believe.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes along with that fakeness, because, when you're talking to a dealer, and you and I talk to a lot of dealerships, and there's a fakeness when you ask them why buy from you, or there's this genericness that happens. And some of them, I did a video a long time ago about your website matching your actual presence at the dealership, like the showroom visit, how it should be. And I mentioned that if your website's a clusterfuck, and when they enter your showroom it's a clusterfuck, well, you're doing something. It's wrong.
Yeah, but at least you're not fake.
But at least you're not fake. Like, it's just a complete clusterfuck of an experience from top to bottom, from your website to how you treat your customers on the phone to how you treat them once they reach your actual dealership. And so it's a very difficult thing when you ask dealerships around why buy from you. You get generic responses like low prices, which is okay. Everybody says that.
We've been here for 50 years.
Okay, nobody cares.
Nobody gives a fuck.
So does that mean you're going to be here for 50 more? Who knows?
We got 500 cars in stock. I'm sorry, Southern is the accent that I use whenever this conversation comes up. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I get it.
It's also the best. It's also like the only accent I can really do. So it's my go-to all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to come up with like a Canadian or French one or something like that. I don't know, but
my wife makes fun of me when I try to do some type of impersonation, and then I come up sounding like I'm from India. So
you should try. You should try to learn Jersey.
Jersey? No, I'm good.
You sure?
I'm good.
One day I'll learn.
If I'm around you a little bit longer, it might start to come out.
I don't know. Maybe one day I'll learn how to do it, because a lot of people don't have no idea that I'm from Jersey.
Yeah.
No, so they say. But yeah. So all of those things that you just talked about, like those are not, guys. Like let's be real with each other. The fact that you've been in business for 50 years, or the fact that you got 500 cars in stock, or the fact of, you got fucking Starbucks in the, you got Starbucks and Wi-Fi in the waiting room in the service department. Either A, it's a nobody gives a fuck type of thing, or B, it's a and. Like really, like it's an and, like it's kind of expected. So, think about it. Like if you had to, number one, if you went to an automobile dealership for service and you had to wait, number one, you'd be pissed off, right? Exactly. So because now you're just burning time while you're sitting there. So if you go and you sat there and you grabbed your phone, right, and you went or your laptop and you went to connect to the Wi-Fi and there was no Wi-Fi, your head would explode. Why? Because you got Wi-Fi everywhere.
Yeah,
everywhere. You would honestly expect that there would be Wi-Fi in the waiting room, in the waiting room in the car dealership. I mean, look at the story I said before about the Sandman seatmate thing. There was no Wi-Fi on the plane. Like I think there were 3 people in the back that were ready to like set the plane on fire because there was no Wi-Fi. You know, so of course, we even expect it when we fly.
Yeah.
So how in the world is having Wi-Fi in the service waiting room? How is that a benefit? Or how is that okay, I should give you $40,000 or I should give you $60,000 for this new Tahoe or this new Explorer because you got Wi-Fi in your waiting room? It's like
most of the cars have Wi-Fi in them now, so it's not even.
Yeah, exactly. Like if that's not a cock and balls reason to tell someone that they should buy a car from you, I can't think of one. So it's very important that dealers actually figure out the reason why somebody should buy a car from them and realize that their why buy message and their added value message are two completely separate messages. Mm-hmm. They're two totally different things. One of them has a monetary value that can be placed on it, right? So like, for example, if you want to talk about the Starbucks coffee, fine, whatever. Nobody gives a shit. But, like if you have, if you do oil changes for free, right? For a year, 2 years, for life, whatever, that has a monetary value, Yeah. If you give loaner cars whenever somebody comes in for service, that has a monetary and a convenience value, attached to it. But it really has a monetary value because the customer doesn't have to get an Uber. The customer doesn't have to arrange for a ride, ask for a favor from somebody, rent a car, right? So, so that's one. If you wash a customer's car every time they come in for service, all of those type of tangible monetary things that somebody would have to pay money for on the outside to take care of on their car, those go into an added value message because there's value placed on them, right?
Exactly.
Your why buy are all of the non-monetary but yet still tangible benefits. Like, for example, you make things easy when you tell people that you're going to make it easy when they come in, that you're going to make it you're going to make the shopping experience very, very simple. You're telling them that any promises that they make that they're going to honor, even if it's a promise that goes against them. So if you misquote a price or something like that, you're going to honor it. That's where you're going to say that your word means more than profit.
Exactly.
And that all of that stuff is, I'm going to be frank with you, it is all to try. The whole idea with the why buy is to try to eliminate the scumbag factor that still exists in the automobile business. Okay.
And why do you think that it's still there? Why do you think the scumbag thing is still there?
Well, look, number one, the scumbag thing was built not over a year or 2 years or by one guy or 5 guys or something. It was built by a complete and entire industry over an extended period of time. All right. Mm-hmm. And some guys, I know right now, there's some people that are watching this that are or listening to this that are going, oh, that's not true. I'm not a scumbag. I was good. I'm good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you are. Okay. But there's another 15,000 of you out there that weren't. And exactly. if you don't believe me, okay, if you don't believe me, or you say I'm trying to shit on car dealers, which I am not in any way, shape, or form, all I'm doing is stating a fact. Give me, I challenge anyone. Give me just one instance in popular culture from the 60s or from the 50s or 60s up to today, okay, where in a popular culture mass type of view where car dealers are put in a good light, or a car dealer is put in a car dealership, or buying a car, the process is put in a light, right, that is positive. Yeah, you can't.
Because you've got movies that were designed like Suckers.
Yeah, you've got movies like Suckers. You just had this Car Dogs movie, right?
Car Dogs.
There were a whole bunch of scenes in there where the dealership was put out to look like they were like vultures attacking customers. There's multiple episodes of Seinfeld where there was something that had to do with the car dealership. I can think of the one where Jerry wanted to buy a car from Elaine's boyfriend at the time, Putty, right? And everything was going well. He was going to get the inside price and all that type of stuff. And then George fucked the whole thing up. And then all of it was, I don't remember exactly what George did. I remember him shaking the vending machine or something, trying to get like a Kit Kat bar out or something like that. And then after that, then Putty pulled everything back, right? And this is like Elaine. This is like your inside friend. Like this is your buddy, and he still stuck it. He still stuck it to Jerry anyway.
Yep.
right? So it just doesn't exist. So that's why the why buy message has to focus on eliminating the scumbag factor. It's almost like all of the things that if I hate to say this, but it's the analogy. I'm gonna fucking say it. So if you're a guy, it's the guy in the bar who goes up to the pretty girl, right? That the girl and the guy both know what the guy's going after, okay? But he's going to walk up and he's not going to tell her that. He's going to walk up and he's going to say that he's the best guy in the world and he's this
Yep.
and this, you know what I mean? And he's this and that and he like loves puppies and and all that type of shit,
Yeah.
And you know what? And maybe the guy's intentions, maybe he just wants to meet a nice girl and that's it. But he's a guy in a bar and of course, what's the girl gonna think? Oh, this guy's just trying to pick me up because he just wants what he wants, and that's it. Yet the guy could be like Prince Charming. He could be the best guy in the world. No matter what, both of them, whether the guy's going to be a scumbag or the guy's going to be a prince, they both have to say the same thing.
Exactly.
Now here's where what you were saying comes into effect, right? Of where if you say that the process is going to be simple, you got to make the process simple. If you say that you're going to be trustworthy and that you're going to stand behind everything that you say, even if it works against you, you have to actually do it.
Yeah.
Right? There's a reason why Walmart's website does not look like Nordstrom's website. Because Nordstrom can't hold up, Nordstrom cannot hold up the same type of image.
Yep.
So you can't do that either. You can't paint one picture of how everything is going to be rosy and nice and it's going to be easy and you're going to come in and sit back and we're going to bring you the car, or you can't say that you have like shop at home service or something and then the customer calls the BDC and is like, okay, when can you bring the car to my house? Oh, we don't do that. When can you come in?
It's a complete disconnect.
Yeah,
Everything that you said online, and that's where where consumers are shopping, that's why you get eliminated very quickly. Like, first off, they've narrowed it down, and then they've actually made that call, which is a huge leap for a consumer to make that call to us. And then everything we said, all the reviews online go to shit because what we said we would do online, we won't actually do it.
That's one of the biggest mistakes and biggest problems that I see in dealerships all the time. That's why I'm also very big on point of purchase material and point of sale material. Think about it as basic as you can get it. If you get an email or you see on TV or you get something on Facebook, right, and it says Macy's 1-day sale with the red star and all that kind of stuff, right? You go and you walk into a Macy's, what do you see as soon as you walk in the door? 1-day sale. You see the big star, you see everything, right? So the perception that Macy's built that they're having a sale, 1-day sale, now you walk in, it's actually happening, right? Yeah. Nordstrom's another example. They have these half-yearly sales, right? You get an email, half-yearly sale. You walk in, half-yearly sale, right? Car dealership sends out an email blast, end of the month blowout. You walk in and it looks exactly the same way that it did on June 3rd.
Well, we say we're going to have a tent sale, or we're having our big tent sale.
A big tent sale with no fucking tent.
Which means we just have tents out. But there's nothing on sale under the tent.
Yeah,
I've seen sale. It's just we have tents.
I've seen tent sales with a fucking 10x10 pop-up. Oh, we'll just put a 10x10 pop-up up. Just say we're having a tent sale. Okay, okay, Sherlock. Like amazing. That's going to fucking work.
Yeah.
Like great job.
Drive by that we have tents.
Yeah. Or are you selling tent? Are you trying to sell that 10x10 tent, or are you trying to sell some cars? Because you better put some value out there.
Exactly. And I think with the why buy and the value add and everything that goes online, you have to have a common message. And I think that's the most difficult part for dealerships is when you ask them the question, the why buy, they have no fucking clue. Like they're completely, they don't know why. And then they come up with bullshit responses on why. And I know you have to deal with this from time to time with dealers because you do an amazing job in your actual business when you're not putting people to sleep.
I try.
You actually, you build this stuff for people. And I have to say it's probably maddening sometimes when you ask this, when we're trying to figure this out, of the message that they want to send and they don't know. They want someone to do it for them.
Yeah, I've actually gotten to the point, honestly, Josh, where I've reversed engineered that. And I've realized that if I go in and if I ask, a lot of times it's too hard, right? Yeah. And once again, I'm not calling the dealer stupid or putting them down or anything, because it is really hard.
It is.
It's not a question.
Yeah, it's
So
a gut check.
it's a gut
What's the
check.
reason?
Yeah. So instead, what I do is I build the why buy message and the added value message. I build them for the dealer,
Hmm.
bring them in. We discuss them, right? We discuss
Yep.
them and say, look, this is what customers are looking for today. Okay.
Exactly.
This is what we have to do to our process, or this is what we have to do as a change, as an added value. This is what we have to start to do from this point forward. Right. But everybody's got to buy into it. Like, it has to be 100% buy-in from the top to bottom. The Macy's one-day sales star. It's got to be on, it has to be like on every single email. It's
Hmm.
got to be, on every e-blast. It's got to be on all the templates in the CRM. It's got to be on all the printouts, in the desking software. It's got to be anywhere and everywhere. Every customer touch point, every salesperson's desk, every customer's touch point has to have this reinforced, so
Exactly.
that the perception that you built online, that somebody's going to get the VIP program when they come in the dealership, they have to see the VIP program. And then eventually it'll turn into customers coming in saying, oh, I get the VIP, right? Like, I get this VIP, I get the oil changes and everything. And you have to say yes.
Exactly.
And if somebody doesn't ask for it, you can't hide it. You have to
Exactly.
actually put it, you have to actually put it out there and make it a part of the process. And I can't say it enough times. You cannot let the why buy message and the added value message get mashed together. You can't do it, because it'll just create a complete mess. The two thoughts are completely independent. When you put them together in the sales process, now they work. You know,
Exactly.
now it works. It's like peanut butter and jelly. Like a peanut butter sandwich by itself is okay, right? A jelly sandwich by itself is, it's kind of okay, right? But when you take peanut butter and jelly and you put them together on some Wonder Bread, right? Now you're talking about heaven,
Yeah.
right? But there's
Exactly.
nothing more. But at the same time, there's nothing that's more gross than a can of goober after you've used it once or twice and you look inside. It's like just a mash of
Just, yeah.
blah, you know what I mean? So like I said, keep the two separate, put them together in the process, because you're looking for a certain result. And that result is your peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Can't make it no simpler than that, guys. I mean,
Exactly. I mean, and I think that's what a lot of dealerships need to hear. I think we overcomplicate a lot of different things, from our digital presence to our social presence to everything. I try to overcomplicate everything.
mm-hmm.
That we need to step back and just try to make it as easy as we possibly can, and understand that it's one step at a time. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Right,
And I think
exactly.
sometimes we try to say, well, all of our digital is just fucked up, so we got to fix it all. Like, okay, that's going to take some time. Well, no, we need it done tomorrow. Well, sorry, it didn't get here overnight. You ain't going
Mm-hmm.
to get fixed overnight. And so I think a lot of dealerships, obviously need to take that advice and just remember that this is going to take time. It's going to take a lot of thought and a lot of people. You need to get a lot of people involved, because what you may think as a dealer or sales manager or digital manager is kind of the process and how the store actually operates may be different from what your top sales guy or your salesman actually think, because you may think that everything's culture and just everything's just this great culture inside the dealership, and really the reality is that it's just a cluster fuck. So
What you said is 100% right. And let me share this. Let me share this little point as well.
mhm,
The like you said before, like everybody says, like, oh, my digital's all fucked up. I got blah 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 blah. Right? This it's because everybody's looking for some kind of stupid silver bullet. Everybody's
exactly.
looking for some type of thing. Like, there's one widget, or there's one trade tool, or there's one widget, or there is no one thing that's going to fix your digital. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Like it just doesn't exist, because if you don't have the proper content in your digital. It's the same thing like your traditional. If your newspaper ad had shitty prices in it and didn't have a real reason to buy, nobody was going to read it and nobody was going to come in. It's the exact same,
Yeah,
it's the exact same thing. The only thing we did was we went from printed paper to this thing. That's it.
exactly.
We just changed the vehicle, but we're still people and we still react to the same type of things.
Yeah,
So, like, let's go back to why buy and added value message, right? If you take those items and you don't make them front and center on your website to when a customer lands, whatever page they're going to land on, right, when they come in from Google. So whether it's the home page, whether it's a search results page, whether it's a landing page that you build, that added value message and that why buy message needs to be front and center before anything else, because the fact that you have 500 or 1,000 or 2,000 cars in stock, it's only going to take you so far. The fact
exactly.
that you go in and you whore every single car that you have at 1,000 behind invoice, guess what? That's only going to take you so far, because you may want to, you can whore that car out 2,000 behind. At the same time, if somebody looks at your site and calls your fucking competitor down the street and they say, hey, Hormount Motors down there, they have the car for $29,900. If it's 3,000 behind, the customer doesn't know that. But if they say, hey, they have the car for $29,900, will you beat it? What's the answer? Well, when can you come in? Sure, we can beat that, no problem. So it doesn't matter how far behind you go, you're going to lose.
Exactly.
You're
The
not, you're going to
competitor's
lose
just
more
going
than you
to,
win.
yeah. And so your competitor's just going to grab hold of that and make money every once in a while, and take a loser every once in a while to beat your ass.
That's right. So, you got to put the why buy and you got to put the added value message ahead of everything else on the site. That has got to be your go-to, because, like, there's also a big thing, and I get a lot of slack for this, right? I get a lot of slack for what I just said, and I get a lot of slack, especially from OEMs, about rearranging the top line navigation on your website and putting
Oh,
about us first,
yep.
right? So top to bottom, left to right, instead of having new inventory there, no, fuck that. Put about us. And under that about us, the first thing is why buy here, or why buy from Paul Miller, or why buy, and then
Yep.
under that, extras you get here, right? Put those things in front of the customer, because they're going to find the inventory. They're
Yep.
going to, right? So, and there's only by putting your message first, you're not hiding the inventory. I mean, trying to hide the inventory on a card, on a website from the customer is like trying to hide crack from a crackhead. Like,
Yeah. That ain't going to
crack,
happen.
it ain't going to happen. Crackhead's going to find the crack, right? Or like trying to hide your money when you got a crackhead living in your house. Well, guess what? They're going to go through your shit and they're going to find
They're
your
going to find
money
your
and
money.
go buy crack, right? That's just the way it is. So the customer is going to find the inventory, especially when you have a big search bar immediately underneath your top line navigation. And then a little bit down on the left-hand side, you have a big model selector to look at inventory. And especially when the item that's after the about us is new cars. I mean, it's right there. You're
Right
not
there.
going to hurt anything.
No.
But at the same time, take your about us, go ahead and leave it where it is on 99% of automobile dealership websites. Leave it where it is, which is the thing, the item all the way to the right, okay? And see how many people see it. When that's your message, that's your best play. That's the best
Exactly.
thing that you have. You know what I mean? It makes no sense whatsoever. OEM guys hate that I say to do that. Every single dealership, and we're into triple digit number of dealerships that I've done that with, not one has seen a decrease in inventory searches. Not one has seen a decrease in VDP views. And as a matter of fact, every one of them actually saw an increase in both of those things. And a minimum of a 5% lift, right? Just from that, a minimum of a 5% lift in appointment set ratio.
Yep.
On their website. Why? Because they put their message first. They started to build a reason as to why the customer should make an appointment and even come in.
Yeah, because it's what differentiates you from them going to another Ford dealership that's 18 miles from you, or the Chevy dealership that's 6 miles away from you? What differentiates you? I mean, consumers are going to go to where they need to go because that's where they feel the most comfortable. And
Mm-hmm.
so if you have a Ford site that is a dealer.com site and it looks just like the other Ford dealership site that's a dealer.com site, they don't even, some of them will get confused and think that they're on your site and they're on the other site. And
Yep.
so if you're not going to differentiate yourself, and you're going with the price game, which is a extremely tough game to play,
Mm-hmm.
because you bottom out and you're going to lose somewhere,
Right.
and you're not making gross. So your sales staff who are paid off gross, your sales managers that are paid off gross, if you've sliced gross to where you're not making anything, it's just a domino effect of a lot more than just, your consumers. You're going to sell some cars. You're not going to make any money. Your salespeople are going to be unhappy. They're going to treat customers bad. You're going to get bad reviews. And the list goes on and on from that point.
Yeah, and then the cancer spreads. Then the cancer
Exactly.
starts and the cancer spreads. You take a group, you put a dealer, a general manager, a couple of sales managers, and a bunch of salespeople all in a room that aren't, and none of them are making any money. What do you think the conversation is going to be about?
Oh yeah.
Right? It's going to be horrible. You're going to be in there for 5 minutes, want to kill yourself.
Exactly.
If you're hanging around with guys like that aren't making any money.
And then and your culture suffers when you have turnover like that, and you have toxic, and it's not really that they're toxic people, but they're in a toxic environment that has caused some negativity to build and build and build. And once you have negativity and it continues to talk about, and you have sales managers, salesmen, and everybody's talking about the negative ways, and it just sucks for us, then eventually that's our reality.
Mm-hmm.
It actually sucks. Like, and to build out of that is such an uphill climb, to build out of a bad culture and a culture that's changed due to the facts of just, disruption inside of an organization where managers and salespeople, just a constant turnover. And your customers are going to notice this. And I think that's what a lot of dealerships that have had that constant turnover, their customers aren't as loyal, because they don't know if Rick is going to be there next month or next
Yeah.
year or 5 years. And so it makes that, when they're back in the market, they're not looking at that dealership again because, well, Rick is over across the street now, or Rick, I don't know if Rick was in the business anymore because Rick didn't follow up.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you don't have that loyalty anymore. And so then they go to the next best price.
And then all it is a lot more of what it is right now, to where it's just a transactional type of relationship.
Exactly.
And look, I think it's getting to the point now where we're all starting to realize this. A lot of people are talking about it a lot more now, more than ever, me being one of them, is that if we don't transition from this being a transactional type of business back to a relationship type of business, there is somebody else who is going to show up. If they haven't shown up already, there is someone else who is going to show up, who is going to do the transactional part better than we do now, and going to add a lot of extra benefits to that transaction, right? And they're going to smush the people that are currently in existence. They're going to smash them like fucking bugs on the sidewalk.
Exactly.
That's what's going to wind up happening. And if you don't think so, look behind you and look at history and look at what's been going on.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the evolution.
Yep.
That's just the evolution of time. You go all the way back to a corner, little corner market, a little corner grocery store that got smushed by a supermarket coming in. Take a look at a little small bodega type of convenience store that got smushed by a Wawa or a Quick Check or a 7-Eleven, right?
Yep.
Or what are the ones down south that have the really good coffee? Like a Pilot, right? Or something like that, right? That just got smashed. Take a look at a small hardware store that got smashed by Home Depot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you can't see that the people who behind the scenes have been buying all of the consumer data off of auto dealer websites, off of automobile dealerships'
Oh
websites.
yeah.
If you can't see that these people are, all they're doing is learning at a very, very small buy-in right now, because they're
Yep.
paying for the data off the websites. So all they're doing is learning at a small amount, at a small buy-in fee. At the same time, they're going from selling one or two things online to selling 50, then from selling 50 to selling 500, then from selling 500 to 50,000, right? And then going all the way to the point of where, hey, you need somebody to come clean your house? Just come online. We'll send somebody. Oh, you need somebody to hang a TV for you? Come online, right? Come on to our website, and we'll find somebody. We'll get somebody over there to hang a TV for you. As all they do is just building consumer confidence in their brand, little by little by little by little by little by little, and then the next thing you know, they're selling cars. And what are they doing? They're bringing the car to the customer's house. They're
Exactly.
letting the customer test, going on extended test drives, 24-hour test drives. They're doing things like dropping the car off for service. When it comes time for service, somebody comes and drops it off. Somebody comes and picks it back up again. They're going to wind up doing everything, and they're going to have the credibility because they never had the scumbag effect touch them in the first place, because they were never a scumbag. All they've done from, let's call it out, all Amazon has done from day one is increase convenience, increase speed, and in the process, increase customer confidence little by little by little. I'm not saying that it's just Amazon. It could be Google. It could be one of the 50 to 100 different companies that are buying that are buying consumer behavior data off of dealership websites right now.
Yep.
Right? It could be any one of them. We've seen a couple startups. What do you think they're doing? They're watching the startups fail. They're looking for their mistakes. They're looking to see what they've done right, what they've done wrong. They're just going to evolve into that. So either we can get ahead of it and make it so that any one of those guys looks and says, you know what? The friggin' automotive industry, man, those guys got that tightened up, man. They've got that locked in. I ain't dealing with that. Forget it. That's got hundreds of years to come back on. I don't want to try to disrupt that. Those guys disrupted themselves and they fixed themselves.
Yep.
Either that, or I'm going to use Gary's line. Either that, or you're looking at yourself, and in 5 years you're going to retire because you're done.
Exactly. You're
right?
done.
You're done. So if that's the fact, then hey, fine, man. Live up to the suckers. Live up to the so what I'm looking for. Live up to the picture that the movie Suckers created. Go ahead. Go for it. If you're going to be out in 5 years, but at the same time, if you're going to be out in 5 years and you want to actually sell your place for top dollar, right, and top value, because you've got a tremendous amount of units in operation, and you've got an absorption rate that's in triple digits, with and the first two digits are like a 1 and a 5 or a 1 and a 7, if you where you can get top dollar for it, or you want to leave it to your kids or whatever.
At least have something to leave. You won't have anything to leave if you're like that.
Hey, and look, I'm not being disrespectful, but Josh, you're not that smart. Okay. Me, I'm not that smart.
No.
Okay. We're not the only ones saying this, though. And
exactly.
and us, along with a lot of other people, we've got our eyes open, and we're actually looking at this. So and what's the word? And if let's just say that we're wrong. Let's say we're completely wrong, and there's nobody that's going to come up, right? There's no friggin' boogeyman under the bed, and there's no monster in the closet. Okay.
Okay.
Let's just say that that's the truth. Wouldn't you want to hedge your bet anyway? And wouldn't you want to do something like the things that we've been saying in your why buying and your added value message? Wouldn't you want to do that just to put yourself ahead of the competition so that you can get more units in operation and make more lifetime money?
Exactly.
It makes off of a relationship.
Yeah.
Instead of off of a transaction one time. You're out.
And then, like you said, we have to take this business from being transactional to being a relationship, because if we lose that relationship piece, then an Amazon of the car business will come in and steal our cake. Steal it. And we won't be able to do anything about it.
Like, let me give you, we're going to go over on time, but whatever. Let me give you another example of one of these, right? I recently did like a webinar type of conference type of thing for a few automobile dealership associations in Canada. Okay.
Okay.
And during the course of it, there was, the gentleman who was moderating, Mike Cirillo. A lot of people know him. He's a great dude. So Mike said, hey, there's two guys here from that work in the medium and heavy truck industry, right? And they're wondering what type of tips and everything you can give to them.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, wait a minute. Number one, I shouldn't be giving tips to them. To be honest, they should be in front of the room and they should be giving tips out, talking about relationship selling, because the whole medium and heavy truck industry is all built on relationship selling.
Exactly.
Everybody that, every single dude that runs like a fleet of, like, say, for example, for a food warehouse or for a, whatever would have a delivery company, whatever it would have like a small to medium sized fleet of trucks, has a like Rick or a Bob that works over at the Volvo truck dealership or that works over at the Mack truck dealership or whatever, right?
Yep.
And whenever they need anything, like, they don't even think about calling anyone besides Rick or Bob. Like, those guys don't go online and search Mac, 3500. I don't even know what the fucking models are, right?
I
But
don't either.
you get my point. Like, nobody does that. They take this thing and they call, hey, Rick, I need a new truck. I need an 18-foot body on it. I need a
This.
hydraulic lift on the back. How quick can you get it to me? And that's it. They should they should rewind that and reverse engineer it all the way back to, how did Rick get in front of that guy?
Exactly.
And then just scale that,
Mm-hmm.
and
Exactly.
what is it? Relationships.
Yeah.
It's
It's all
all
about the
based on
relationship.
relationships. Fucking Rick didn't lie to that guy one time, or Rick, when the first time the guy called him on the phone, Rick didn't say, yeah, sure, I can beat that price. When can you come in? It was a whole different thing. It was a whole thing about, like, hey, do you have loaner trucks that you can give out? Hey, when, do you have a fleet? Do you guys have a fleet of tow trucks so that you can come and pick up my truck if it breaks down on the side of the road? And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And stuff like that, because there was value there. And there's also a tremendous amount of value in being able to pick up the phone and have Rick answer it and answer a question, or get something, or get you something that you need right away.
Exactly.
So that relationship selling, man.
It all comes down to.
It all comes down to relationship selling. Like, we could have done the whole podcast by me just saying relationship selling,
Relationship selling.
and then
That's
we
what
could
we'll
just,
name it.
yeah, and then we could just tell more stories about people falling asleep on planes.
Hey, that's what we're here for.
Yep.
So I want to thank Frank. Obviously, Frank, you've been a mentor to me, and a good friend, and I appreciate everything that you've done for me, and the conversations we've had mean a hell of a lot to me. And
They do
Frank,
to me too, man.
you have your show. Please plug that real quick for those who are listening that may not know.
So just a very, very quick plug. Get More Frank 365 every day, or close to every day.
Tough.
It's tough. It's tough. Close to every day. I put up a new video. Everything is under 3 minutes long. It just, Get More Frank. So we just get right to the meat and potatoes, right to the heart of whatever the message is. I just deliver it to you really quick. And it's always going to be something that is based on, something that's of value to you.
Yep.
Whether it be motivational, inspirational, or whether it be a tactic. I'll probably take 4 or 5 little 2-minute segments out of this podcast, and chop them up into videos for this. And all you're going to get, like, you'll probably get the goober joke out of it, for example.
It's worth it.
That was good, right?
It was good.
That was
It was
actually
good.
pretty good. I actually came up with that this morning in a Facebook message to somebody. But and that's all it is. It's out there every day on Facebook, on YouTube. Very easy to find. Just hashtag Get More Frank, and you'll find it right away.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Frank. And thank you guys for listening. Tune in soon. Don't know when I'm going to actually start doing this. I need to set a date. So
You
maybe
need to
in the
just commit.
comments.
You see, look at everything that you just said, Josh. There was a lot of wishy-washy, fucking non-committal type of like, I don't know when I'm going to do this again. This is going to be done every. Look, I'm going to correct you right now. I'm your mentor, so here it comes. We're going to do this every single week. There is going to be a
Every
new
single
auto.
week it'll happen. I don't know when the actual. So let's go with
That's
every single
semantics.
week.
Nobody cares about that. That's the
Exactly. And
logistical shit.
we'll have it on there. And appreciate
Look
you.
forward to a new Auto Disruptor podcast every single week, right here where you're seeing this now. It's going to be, it's going to be there next week, the week after that, until Jesus comes back. So make sure you tune in.
See, that's why he's my mentor, because he kicks my ass. Thank you guys for listening.
See you later, man.